racial justice, and ultimately, collective liberation. This morning, we'll hear from members of the BC team as they share their experiences of this program. If you're joining us today as a guest, know you are witnessing a group of Unitarian Universalists embodying racial justice as a spiritual practice and encouraging this congregation in the journey to create a beloved community here at Sunnyhill.
Our opening words were written by Christina Hsu and Tara Little. We call on and invoke our parents, grandparents, aunties and uncles, our siblings from across time and place to be here with us. We call on the early Unitarians and the Universalists, lay people and ordained ministers who brought our faith to Pittsburgh. We call on ancestors of Sunnyhill who built, grew, and dreamed this church and this community into being. We call on those who represent peoples of Pittsburgh, those who strove to build beloved community, representing diverse cultures and traditions, including the indigenous peoples of different tribes. We call upon our activist ancestors, those who struggled for justice, freedom, and liberation of all people, who challenge us to honor the fullness of each and every human being. We especially lift up those who battled the racism and oppression right here in Mount Lebanon, which is still alive today. They ask us to join the ongoing struggle to make this place whole. We call upon and honor the beauty of the earth, this particular part of creation that this church ministers at, in the hills and valleys at the confluence of our three rivers. Our interconnectedness to nature and to the history of the land itself. Now we ask you to call to your mind your own particular ancestors, family roots, spiritual mentors, and guides. Each one of us brings into the room our own network of people and places. We have welcomed this great cloud of witnesses to join us to build beloved community. Can you feel them? May our ancestors guide us on our way. May they bless this place and this time and the work we are about to do. Please everyone join me in saying, ancestors, be with us. Ancestors, be with us.
We light our flaming chalice as a beloved people, united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us a spirit of humility. May it ignite in us radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. Please join me in saying the words to light our chalice. This is a chalice of audacious hope. This chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly towards our highest ideals. And now, please join us in body or spirit in singing our opening hymn, The Fire of Commitment.
Right. We haven't sung this together yet as a congregation, so Buddy's going to play it all the way through once, so you can get the tune in your head. And oh, it's in 5/4 time, you guys. So this is exciting, yeah. So we'll listen once through.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Thank you. You sang in 5/4. Please be seated.
All right, so for our story today, I could really use a few volunteers. Are there any young ones with us that might want to help? Come on up, all of you, come on. Not all of you, that would be overwhelming, but all of the kiddos, come on up. And maybe Corey and Tim, you can help me too. Come and sit right up here by me. And have a seat. Come on up, take a seat. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at me and say, "There's something on your face." Can we practice that? How about a little bit louder? There's something on your face. Okay, good job. And I'm gonna respond. Everyone sees I got something on my face. All right. Okay, great. Let's get started.
You have something on your face.
Nope. I don't have anything on my face.
You have something on your face.
What are you talking about? You're wrong. I'm not listening to you.
You have something on your face.
Funny you should say that because you are the one with something on your face. You must be joking. I'm an expert face washer. I have studied face washing for years.
You have something on your face!
How dare you tell me I have something on my face? You don't get to play with me anymore.
You have something on your face!
I have something on my face? I'm gonna go back to bed now. Nobody look at me.
You have something on your face!
Everybody has something on their face. So why even mention it? There's nothing we can do about it. It's always going to be this way.
You have something on your face!
I have something on my face? Thank you for telling me. I've been washing it away bit by bit, but I guess some of it is stickier than I thought. I really appreciate you telling me. Miss Corey, do you think you could help me get it off? Thank you so much, volunteers. You could stay here for a second. When you think about being in community together and what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist, which response do you think was the best one? Was it what I said, I'm going back to bed? No. Was it when I said there's something on your face? No. Which one do you think was the best one?
We all have something.
Try again. Luna?
Thank you for telling me.
Exactly. It was the thank you for telling me. Sometimes, when we are building community together, it's important to listen to what other people have to say, even if we might not want to hear it at first. We do that because it's part of our covenant, our promise to each other. There are times when we need to hear news or feedback that causes us discomfort, but by hearing it and responding to it constructively, with curiosity and humility, we can more easily go about building beloved community. This is especially true when it comes to feedback about how cultural privilege along race, gender identity, disability, sexual orientation, class impacts others. Thank you to our volunteers who continue to try to help me understand what was right in front of me. And with that, we'll sing you to our RE class. Thank you.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change and life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the web. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known. We shall be known. We shall be known by the we shall be known by the ones who circle round to tend these. We shall be known. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change. by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these eyes. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. We shall be known. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time to lead ourselves into the well. We shall be known. It is time now. And what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love.
This is a time in our service when we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of the congregation. We share the things that we're celebrating as well as the things that we're mourning so that they do not need to be held alone. There were no joys or sorrows submitted this week, but I would ask that we take a moment of silence to bear in mind all the joys and sorrows that people are experiencing in this moment, whether they may be shared aloud or not. All that we have carried through the seasons of our lives has brought us here to this place, made sacred by our coming together. May we hold all that we carry in the warm embrace of this loving community. Amen.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. These are words by Andre Maull. As we gather together, may we remember, when you share with me what is most important to you, that is where listening begins. When I show you that I hear you, when I say your life matters, that is where compassion begins. When I open a door to greet you, that is where hospitality begins. When I venture out to bring you shelter, that is where love begins. When I risk my comfort to ease your suffering, when I act against hatred, violence, and injustice, that is where courage begins. When we experience the full presence of each other, because of our shared humanity, because of our differences, that is where holy gratitude begins. May this space be a table that is not complete until all are welcome. May this table be a space of beauty where together we create a series of miracles and where all that we share is sacred. May it be so. Amen.
So for the congregation, as we sing this, you'll just be singing the chorus, which is the slide that you have up here. Mary and I are going to be doing the verses, but keep an ear out for when the chorus starts. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Try it. For each child that's born, the morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Good morning. Beloved Conversations, the signature offering of the FOS Collaborative at Meadville Lombard Theological School, is a program for Unitarian Universalists seeking to embody racial justice as a spiritual practice. In Beloved Conversations, we are here to heal the impact of racism on our lives in order to get free together. The Beloved Conversations program is split into 3 sections: Within, Among, and Beyond. Within was focused on the individual personal work we each need to do. Among is focused on institutional systemic change needed in our congregations. Beyond is focused on work outside our congregations with our local communities. We are looking forward to sharing with you what this process has meant to us and encourage you to join us on this journey for Sunnyhill.
Good morning. My name is Pat Murray, and I've been coming to Sunnyhill since early 2010. It's about 12 years. I have been co-chair of social justice since about 2013 with Corey Vipperman. I've also participated in many other activities, as many of you have as well. I've also taken the Beloved Conversations program since September 2020. I was interested in the Beloved Conversation program because growing up in Erie, I rarely heard my maternal family speak of Black folks. And when they did, they used hushed tones. And in the case of my paternal family in northern Florida, there were louder voices and more explicit words. I inhaled this air and had nothing much to do with African Americans until my early 20s. In time, due to my personal interaction with coworkers and clients, I decided to reject my family's views on race, and I sought out more personal interaction with African Americans. In part, I was motivated to do this because I found it humbling to reflect on my teen years of repeating the ideas I had heard from family and friends. In about 2013, I started attending Pennsylvania Interfaith Impact Network, also known as PIN, meetings, and have become friends with several African American members of PIN. PIN congregations come from many denominations, including Jewish, Muslim, and Hindu, besides the usual Christian and general denominations. Making race a central issue for each team, like environment, criminal justice, voter engagement, and such, is a priority for PIN. I have found that working on projects of shared interest is a great way to learn and form meaningful relationships, and those friendships have really expanded my world. However, the Beloved Conversation program expanded my understanding of race in America exponentially, and I greatly value that. For example, I viewed a recording of 4 Black UUs discussing race and the UU religion, reporting that, for them, the UU theology, our principles, was the main draw of joining the UU faith. I found myself pausing and thinking about that for some time, because I had not remembered hearing that thought previously. Also, I viewed videos or read articles that introduced me to folks, mostly people of color, and I had not heard of those folks previously. So I would Google or search YouTube and obtain an expanded understanding of their ideas. I found I was so absorbed that when I finally stood up, my joints needed a few steps to work properly. So the Beloved Conversation program has expanded my world of knowledge about race tremendously. I view the surface of that world as representing aspects of race I can learn more about. So the irony is, the bigger the world of knowledge, the more I realize that I can learn, and the more future learning I look forward to. The Beloved Conversations team will be out in Fellowship Hall after church to further discuss how we move forward. Please stop by and share your thoughts and questions. Also during the summer, the BC team will do a second service focused on a few next steps on how we move forward as a congregation. We value your thoughts, and we greatly value your participation. I warmly invite you to join us on this essential, inspiring trip. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Carol Slomsky, and I have been a member of Sunnyhill since October of 2019. Since becoming a member, I have participated in the sharing circles and as a member of the choir, in addition to participating in the Beloved Conversations program. I grew up in a small steel town in Ohio, not too far from here. I remember being about 9 or 10 when our local swimming pool was integrated. On that day, white folks stood outside the pool while several black children played in it. The word was that something would come off their skin that would contaminate the water for white people. After a few minutes of this, our parents let us enter the pool. I had forgotten this incident from my childhood until I recently read the book Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. It was my first experience with the caste system, but it was not to be the last. During the 34 years that I practiced surgery, I saw firsthand the racial disparities in healthcare and was frequently anguished by the fear and distrust that people of color had with me as a medical doctor. It took many years of listening and learning to develop ways to meet and break through this mistrust. Recently, my husband, who works as a lifeguard at the Upper St. Clair Recreation Center, overheard a woman saying to a member of the staff, "I would pay more to belong to this center if it didn't let Black people in." I am recounting this painful story as a fresh reminder that the caste system continues and that we have much work to do. In 2018, I made the decision to come to the UU faith because of the desire to be connected to something larger than myself, whether that be a commitment to the nature around us or to our fellow humans. I was drawn by the examples and stories of UUs who have bravely confronted inequities in our society. Participating in the Beloved Conversations program was an opportunity that I felt could be a way for me to make a difference like them. Racial justice is a spiritual practice that can be learned. Learning takes an open mind, commitment, and a willingness to fail. Please don't think that you cannot do this. You can. Don't be afraid to fail. You may, and together we will all try again. Our faith calls us to be connected to all other beings and to affirm their worth and dignity. Our faith calls us to work together for racial justice. Our faith calls us to actively live our principles. Please come with us on this journey.
Good morning. My name is Tim Dawson. My wife Michelle and I joined Sunnyhill in, I believe it was 2017. Since that time, I very much enjoyed washing dishes at various events and serving coffee. I very much enjoy mowing the lawn. But I've also been very privileged to participate in this Beloved Conversations program over the last 2 years. And I'd like to thank you. On behalf of all of the members of the Beloved Conversations team, I want you to know how grateful we are that you invested in us and allocated funds so that the 6 of us could participate in the second part of the Beloved Conversations program. In a number of sermons recently, Reverend Jim has recalled for many of us the sense of recognition, the sense of finally coming home that I experienced when we first attended Sunnyhill. What I heard Jim go on to say, however, is that Sunnyhill can be a place of inspiration, repair, and restoration, but it should not be a place of rest. We have work to do together as agents of love, fighting for justice in this world. I'm excited today as we reach out to each of you so that together we can join our efforts with those of UUs across the world as we continue to work to create beloved community within and beyond our walls. Now, If you are like me, you will chafe at terms like beloved community and acronyms like BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. What might be dismissed as the jargons of wokeness. As our team engaged the BC program, I bristled at the terms and the acronyms we were encountering. I don't like them. I think there must be better terms to describe what it is we're hoping to do, or who we're hoping to be. More importantly, I and others on our Sunnyhill BC team have imagined that you, our Sunnyhill family, would find these difficult terms to rally around, and thus this jargon would be an impediment to our joining our work together, and you joining us in this work we are so excited about. Before the BC program, though, I already knew enough to appreciate how wrong my perspective would appear to others. I am a heterosexual, white male who is seeking to police the language of people whose every word, whose every acronym at bottom means nothing but more love. Who am I to think that I know better than people who have been working for years to hack out a path that I am just so willing to walk on down? Well, I am a person that has been taught to think of himself as white. And yes, my jargon alarm just went off. Let me say that another way. I am a person who is smart enough to know that we live in a society thoroughly divided along racial lines, but for some reason I struggle with the logical consequences of that fact for me. That is, I struggle to accept, much less understand, what it means that my most basic sense of identity is wrapped up in my being white. I have something on my face, and I don't like it. I, in fact, reject the very idea. But that attitude, that I think that I can choose not to deal with the most basic facts about the problems we are hoping to resolve together, and yet I still expect to be included in someone's project of developing beloved community. It is that attitude that I think might be one of the ways that the deeply embedded white supremacist culture manifests to frustrate our efforts here at Sunnyhill. It seems even wrong, or maybe just odd to say, and I'm not sure yet that I believe this, but I am beginning to suspect that my dismissive reactions to some of the BC program materials may be masking a deeper fear. Perhaps I'm scared that there will be no place for people like me in the beloved community we are hoping to create together. In fact, I'm more or less certain that this is true. It is, after all, the very promise of transformation that we are meant to be embracing as we do this work. Yet that is a very fearful promise. But it is fearful truths we don't want to be true, that are exactly the type of things the BC program has helped the six of us engage. As Dante, Shakespeare, Robert Frost, and now Under Armour will tell you, the only way out is through. As a person who has been taught to think of himself as white, I am excited to tell you that the BC work is inclusive. It even provides resources to engage with people like me. Indeed, it provides resources we all can use to support one another as we engage and work through our fearful truths, the beliefs and attitudes and ideas that we have, that we know enough to be troubled by, but that nevertheless persist. You have made a good investment, and I look forward to the work we will do together.
Good morning, I'm Janie Elliott, and I've been a member of Sunnyhill since 2002. I've been around a while. If someone asks me what truths I live by, or try to live by, it's a process, I would respond with our first two principles. I believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I believe that all human relations should be grounded in justice, equity, and compassion. After the murder of George Floyd, I could not live my truths, our principles, and explain the murder of George Floyd as the action of just one more bad cop. I could not live my truths and lay the blame for the 2015 mass shooting at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston at the feet of just one more crazy person. I could not live my truths and explain violence against trans people, particularly trans women of color, as the actions of just more people who are ignorant and misguided. If I were to truly live my UU values, I had to explore more fully the white supremacist culture that drives violent acts like these, and also drives America. I had to explore with rigor and courage where I fit in America's white supremacist culture. Participating in the Beloved Conversations program has allowed me to explore my personal history and experiences, my beliefs, and my assumptions about people and community through an anti-racist lens. What I discovered is this: I need to live my UU values not just here at Sunnyhill, but every day and in every interaction. I need to seek opportunities to support anti-racist work with people of color. I need to step back with my own story and experiences and instead center the stories and experiences of people of color. I am excited that our team is now inviting you, the Sunnyhill community, to work with us as we launch educational programs for individuals and groups, work with church leaders to review policies and practices, establish or expand partnerships for anti-racist efforts with organizations led by people of color, organizations such as PIN, and also develop a covenant for Sunnyhill that reflects our desire to be a beloved community. The outcome we envision for this work is simple: a more just and compassionate Sunnyhill. Our mission is straightforward: to support a culture of anti-racism, anti-oppression, and multiculturalism. We cannot do this work for you, but we can do this work with you, and we hope you join us. Thank you.
Members of the Sunnyhill's Beloved Conversations Among team are looking closely and honestly at the systems of our congregation, the way we do things, the policies and procedures that we have, the outcomes of our various ministries, and considering ways that those systems need to shift and change in order to be in closer alignment with our shared faith values of justice, equity, and inclusion. Our Among team work will work to translate our religious commitments into tangible actions. Before we move on to the next segment of our service, sorry, this was unscripted. I wanted to briefly address the members of our Beloved Conversations team. After the murder of George Floyd, I found myself at a turning point. Before that point, I saw racial justice as a huge issue and racism as a huge problem, but not my problem. It was someone else's issue for someone else to address. In the spring and summer of 2020, I had a personal awakening. I realized then that racism affects all of us, and those of us with the privilege to do something about it have a responsibility to do so. My personal response was to read, watch, listen, and show up when asked. Back in August of 2020, I put a call out in the Beat, Sunnyhill's e-newsletter, about a program called Beloved Conversations. I asked if anyone was interested in joining me on the journey to look within themselves to find their own role in the cause for racial justice. A handful of Sunnyhillers responded, and we got started. We're now 2 years into this journey, and you have heard from the current Beloved Conversations team. We didn't have any idea what we were getting into, but we got to work with an open mind and an open heart. To my friends Carol, Janie, Pat, Tim, and Corey, thank you all for saying yes to this journey. I'm so proud to be walking the path with you all. I also want to give a huge thank you to our coach from the last year, Reverend Aaron Walter, who I believe is joining us virtually all the way from Austin, Texas. Hi, Aaron. In addition to being our coach, Reverend Aaron is the executive director of the Texas UU Justice Ministry, fronts a rock band, and teaches Zumba. She got us started each session with music and dancing and grounded us in joy always. Even with all she is personally and professionally facing, she's a UU in Texas, she was always fully present with us, and we're truly grateful. To Reverend Aaron, thank you so very much from the Beloved Conversations team, as well as from the entire Sunnyhill congregation. And now back to our normally scheduled routine. We will now engage in a commissioning ritual for the members of our Beloved Conversations team to recognize that their and our work is done on behalf of the congregation and that their work will have a real impact on the life of this congregation.
The work of liberation, the work of anti-racism, and the eradication of white supremacy in ourselves and in our systems is the day-to-day creation of the Beloved Community, a project well-suited for faith communities ready to practice new ways of being in relationship and of being human together. Although social and racial justice are often seen in our Unitarian Universalist communities as work to be done out there in the community beyond the walls of our congregations, we know that it is our responsibility to put our own house in order first, to endeavor to align our systems in all parts of our congregations with our deepest held and highest values and aspirations. This is the work that our Beloved Conversations team is engaged in, and it will be all of our responsibilities to support them as they continue the work and move forward. Today, then, we take this reality seriously and formally bestow upon the members of this team the authority they need to carry out the works we have assigned them. This is an opportunity to give our blessings to the ministry these people will provide in the future and to affirm their sense of calling to this role as leaders. Will the members of our Beloved Conversations team please come forward? Jen, Pat, Janie, Corey, Carol, and Tim. Today we commission you as members of our congregation's Beloved Conversations team. As the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, I am grateful for your willingness to serve in this important role. Members of the congregation, I will ask you a short series of questions, after which I will ask you to respond by saying, "We will." Will you, members and friends of this church, support the work of this team as they help us better understand the ways that our congregational systems may not align with our most deeply held values? Will you empower them to be agents of change in our congregation, moving us ever closer to the goal of racial justice and collective liberation? And will you help them as together we do the work necessary to eradicate racism and foster radical inclusion? If so, please respond by saying, "We will." We will. Members of our Beloved Conversations team, we charge you and empower you to take a discerning, loving, and honest look at the ways our congregation does things, how we have structured our systems, the outcomes of how those systems operate, and whether they are in line with our commitments to justice, equity, and inclusion for all. To take time to learn from the wisdom of others about different ways of doing things, new ideas to try, and examples of systems that decenter whiteness and center the needs of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. To be bold in your vision of how our congregation could be radically inclusive, anti-racist, transformative spiritual home for so many people. To remind yourselves and us of the beauty, joy, love, wholeness, and truth that can be found when we engage honestly in a process of reflection, experimentation, and transformation, and to care for yourselves and one another in the process, and to ask for help when you need it. Will you accept this charge to serve, committing yourselves to the faithful work of transformation, both personal and systemic? Will you be bold, creative, open-minded, and steadfast in your work together? And will you do your best to help bring our congregation ever closer to alignment with our values and our vision of the beloved community? If so, please say, "We will." We hereby commission you as our beloved Conversations team. Thank you for all you will give and have given, and for the transformation that you will lead. May you know that the work you do is powerful, valued, and needed. May you know that our entire congregation is here to support you. And may you know that you are enough. Amen. Let's join me in thanking you. Please rise in body or spirit. We're going to be singing This Little Light of Mine, which I think most of us know is a children's song and an old spiritual that was reintroduced during the Civil Rights era as a song of personal empowerment. Its lyrics speak to the importance of unity in the face of adversity. Its refrain sings of the light in each person and how, whether standing up alone or joining together with others, each little bit of light can break through the darkness. The song has been applied to many struggles, but was an anthem of the civil rights movement, especially in the 1950s and 60s. And I will note that when a congregation like ours, which is mostly, though not all, white, sings a Black spiritual, we do so not to make light of the suffering of enslaved or oppressed peoples, or to trivialize or disrespect their culture, but rather to honor their struggle and to stand in solidarity with their resistance to oppression in all its forms. It's the end of my sermon. Now we'll sing.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Everywhere I go,
Everywhere I go,
It is time now for our morning offering. Today's offering will be staying with Sunnyhill this morning, but going directly to the continued work of the Beloved Conversations program at Sunnyhill. The members that you heard from today have spent the last 2 years in weekly sessions learning, reading, challenging one another in the effort to bring a more radically inclusive Sunnyhill to reality. The Beloved Conversations is the signature offering of the FOS Collaborative of the Meadville Lombard Theological School. If you'd like to make a gift via our online giving system, you can do so by going to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says Online Giving, and then follow the instructions. Or you can give by text at 412-324-3130. Text the amount of your gift and the word special if you want your payment to apply to our designated offering. Or text the word pledge if you'd like your gift to apply to your 2022 Sunnyhill pledge. You can also mail a check if you prefer, and you can find our mailing address on our website, sunnyhill.org. For those of you who are here with us in person, we'll be passing around offering baskets in just a moment. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity.
This song was written by Walter Earl Brown for Elvis Presley as a response to the assassinations of Robert F. Kennedy and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It was first performed in 1968, and it contains references to the I Have a Dream speech of Dr. King. This is If I Can Dream. There must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue. If I can dream of a better land where all the people walk hand in hand, tell me why. Oh, why can't my dream come true? There must be peace and understanding sometime. Strong winds of promise that will blow away the doubt and all the fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining on everyone, tell me why. Oh, why won't that sun appear? We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. But as long as we all have the strength to dream, we can redeem our souls and fly. Yes, we can fly. Deep in my heart, there's a trembling question. Still, I am sure that the answer will come somehow. Out in the dark, there's a beckoning candle. And if I can think, if I can talk, while I can stand, while I can walk, while I can dream.
please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our closing words are from Andrea Hawkins Camper. Be about the work. May we see all as it is, and may it all be as we see it. May we be the ones to make it as it should be. For if not us, who? If not now, when? This is answering the cry of justice with the work of peace. This is redeeming the pain of history with the grace of wisdom. This is the work we are called to do, and this is the call we answer now. To be the barrier and the bridge, to be the living embodiment of our principles, to be about the work of building the beloved community, to be a people of intention and a people of conscience. We all will be in Fellowship Hall for coffee and conversation, so please join us and go in peace. Thank you.